Hi, my name is Brett Wiege. Today I'm going to be arguing in favor of the Trump administration's decision to prioritize state actors threatening U.S. national security over terrorism. And there's a few reasons that they did this. One is China and Russia's economic influence over the United States has greatly increased in the past few decades, as well as their ability to inflict cyber threats to the United States. And terrorists generally cannot do these things. And terrorism in the Middle East has largely been contained. It's more of an issue of an unstable government. And surely terrorism can move in and take advantage of that. But that hasn't seemed to have happened because the U.S. has largely taken away territory and land in Afghanistan and Iraq that was previously occupied by terrorism. And that includes ISIS. Whereas for Taliban, the U.S. has been negotiating with the Taliban, so they don't pose nearly as much of a threat to the United States as they did before. Relations have eased in the past few years. And additionally, U.S. intelligence has shown us, thanks to whistleblowers actually, that U.S. intelligence has not prevented any terrorist attacks that had a feasible chance of succeeding inside U.S. soil. And on the other hand, China has the ability now to inflict great cyber warfare over the United States. They steal information, they siphon money from foreign governments, and China also has a great deal of leverage over the United States with the amount of supply they provide the United States in trade. And this is not a good dynamic to have with China because it allows them to use that as a weapon. And the U.S. should be focusing on how they can recover from that. And that may seem like an economic issue, and it is, but if it threatens U.S. national security, then that's a big deal. Russia, on the other hand, influenced the 2016 election as they did in previous elections before that. But they used social media to greatly influence the base of voters on both sides. And the outcome of the election may have been very different if they had not swooped in and done such devious clandestine warfare. Early in 2020, we found out, this was revealed in late 2020, that they had hacked into U.S. Intelligence systems and stolen a great deal of sensitive information. And it's not clear to the public at this point how much they stole or at what level of secrecy the information was that they stole. But they proved that they could do it. And this could have been prevented had the U.S. been prepared for state actors conducting such huge-scale attacks if they had prepared for it earlier. Now, Iran and Hezbollah from Lebanon are now the chief sponsors of terrorism around the world. And while terrorism itself may seem like a threat that the U.S. should focus on, if the U.S. just focuses on those state actors, they could undercut terrorism greatly, because that is where a lot of the funding towards these terrorist groups comes from. And this is why I believe that giving any appeasement towards Iran and enemies in the Middle East is not a good idea, and the U.S. should instead focus on limiting the reach of those state actors in order to further stifle the act of terrorism. Now, China, they steal incredible amounts of information from the U.S. in various ways, as well as just the West in general, and they use this to further their military innovation. And if this is not something that the U.S. Focuses on, then it will come back to bite them. And they have developed many new technologies that the U.S. has, such as stealth aircraft, and they are not nearly as advanced, but the fact that they have gotten stealth jets in the air is a very frightening revelation. And in conclusion, if the U.S. wants to protect national security in general, they would be best suited to focus on state actors at large, mostly China and Russia, but also Iran, rather than focusing on the Middle East. The Middle East is mostly a sideshow now. They can focus on terrorism still, but it should not be the chief focus of the U.S. Administration anymore, because it has largely been contained. Thank you.